this one really grinds my gears, right? Because it showcased people passing on blame as opposed to taking their responsibility for what they've done. Let's take a listen to this.
In March, an Iranian drone hit a U.S. military post in Kuwait, killing 6 service members and wounding more than 20 others. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the drone squirted through the defenses of the fortified base. Well, now we're hearing from more survivors who are sharing a very different story with our Jonah Kaplan. Jonah, good morning.
Good morning, Nora. Last month we reported on how a key U.S. command post in Kuwait was left unprotected, despite intelligence showing it was a potential target for an Iranian drone. Now more soldiers who survived are speaking out, telling us the Army did not properly plan for possible casualties, and the consequences were deadly.
Why are you coming forward?
This was a failure. The only way you learn from your failures is you talk about it.
Army Major Stephen Ramsbottom was at his desk at this U.S. tactical post in Kuwait when an Iranian drone crashed through his makeshift workspace.
It went black, and I got knocked to the ground.
With a piece of shrapnel lodged in the back of his head, Ramsbottom says he began pulling his fellow soldiers from the rubble.
I wanted to see like a line of ambulances coming towards us or something, and there wasn't that. It was like, oh man, we're on our own.
2 other soldiers told CBS News they asked for more medical support weeks before, but Army leadership ignored the request. The strike killed 6 U.S. soldiers, all from the Iowa-based 103rd Sustainment Command. Ramsbottom says one of them, Master Sergeant Nicole Amer, could have survived her wounds had there been a doctor, a fixed aid station, or more than 1 ambulance at the post.
She fought the whole way, and she was trying to stay alive.
Do you think that had there been an ambulance, adequate medical attention, she'd still be alive?
I think she could have been saved.
She was like my yin and yang.
Master Sergeant Anne Marie Carrier was right next to Amer when the drone hit.
I instantly started screaming her name.
Soldiers commandeered vans and scrambled to find the nearest Kuwaiti hospital. Carrier says her best friend was still breathing as they set out for help. Shortly after arriving at the hospital, Amer died.
Was the Army prepared for a mass casualty event like this?
No, we didn't have any training for that.
The attack was the deadliest against U.S. troops since 2021. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said this the day after.
It happened to hit a tactical operations center that was fortified, but these are powerful weapons.
But Ramsbottom is one of 8 surviving soldiers who told CBS News something different.
We had no overhead protection. We had a tin roof. That was all we had.
Now, I wanted to showcase this clip, guys, because, again, as I'm listening to this, I can't help but scratch my head and just think, like, what are these people freaking doing? Like, you have a major and a bunch of other senior enlisted people on CBS News talking about how they were ill-equipped, how they were sitting ducks. What are you talking about, man? Like, you're a soldier in the United States Army. As a private, I learned to improve my foxhole. You're forward deploy. You have a tin roof over your head. You're telling me that you can't figure out how to grab a couple of soldiers and fill some freaking sandbags and fortify your position? You know that we're going to war with Iran, and you know that drones are a big thing. You telling me that as a major, as a sergeant major, as a first sergeant, as an E7, you can't come up with a plan for mass cal? You can't go out and find ambulances? You can't go into the local economy? You can't send people out to go talk to the hospitals to make sure that you have everything you need? But yet it's the Army's fault. You are the Army. Like, what are you talking about? Who was supposed to get all that stuff done for you? Who? The captain that works below you? The E7s? The first sergeant? All the people that work under you? If you didn't do it, who was supposed to do it? Is what I'm trying to understand as I'm listening to these people talk on CBS News about how they were ill-equipped, didn't have the right equipment. Like, whose job was it? You're a major in the United States Army. It's your job to find that first sergeant, to find that sergeant major and say, hey, check it out. We got a conflict going on. We're sitting ducks. We need to fortify this position, right? We need sandbags over here. Hey, get the medic. Have them go out to the local economy, find some ambulances, get some connections going on, because if something happens, we need to be able to react, right? It's your job. You should be doing that. Not going along just to get along and then something happens and you blame it on the Army, which by definition, the Army is just a name. The people in it is who makes up that organization. And guess what? You are in the Army. So it's by definition your fault. You are deployed there. You are supposed to fortify that position. You're supposed to lead. You're supposed to tell people what to do. You're supposed to have a plan in place. You're supposed to plan medical. You're supposed to fortify your position. You're supposed to do all of that. I learned all of that as a private. And here you are, a major, bitching on CBS about how you were left to defend for yourself and you didn't have this and you didn't have that, right? Blew my mind when I heard all of that, guys. But I wanted to play that clip for you guys just because I thought it was a good teaching moment. The Army or your leaders, they can only do so much. You as a leader also need to do your part and lead and do the basics so you and the soldiers underneath you can have a chance of survival. Guys, before I sit down here and make videos for you guys, I grabbed me a bag of level 3 dead drop, to be exact, is my favorite flavor, right? My favorite roast. Fascinated by the covert world of special operations. Once I got out, I decided to travel to some of these places that I used to only read about in intelligence reports, right? I go there, I capture the journey, and I share you guys some of the unique stories that you'll probably never heard of as it relates to spycraft, right? And I package all up on a QR code on the back of the coffee. When you grab it, you'll get to share that experience. You'll get to go on that adventure with me, right? If you like what I'm doing over here, guys, this is your way of supporting me. Grab you a bag of level 3 dead drop. Like I said, is my favorite. And let me know what you think, guys. Sourced in the shadows. This one's from Medellin. Deployed to you with purpose, right?